Hello Facebook fans, and it's time for another edition of Tune Up Tuesday. Today we're going to continue our January conversation of make your car feel good, look good, and there's nothing that will change the car, how it feels on the road, more importantly than some tires, just like a pair of new shoes. That's what connects the car to the road, that's what gives you the feedback in the steering wheel, keeps you planted on wet, dry, snowy surfaces, everything. But what I'd like to do today is kind of take some of the mystery out of all the numbers on the side of the tires. If you look at the sidewall, it's packed full of all kinds of numbers. So what I wanted to do is, we've got a few tires over here. I'd like to break those numbers down for you, just to give a general understanding of what we're really looking at here. So probably the first thing here that we talk about is the tire size itself. That first number there, 235, that is the width of the tire in millimeters. It's 230. This tire here is 235 millimeters wide. Second number, 50. That's a ratio. That's a percentage. So what it's saying is the sidewall height, which is this area here, is 50% of the width of the tire. And then of course the 17 is just the rim size. That's a static number, not adjustable. We always really recommend that you go back with the manufacturer's tire size, but there will be options on that. Sometimes there's an oversized or undersized option that come on tires, but that's what you're really looking at, is the width of the tire, the aspect ratio of the height of the tire, and rim size. We come on down to the next set of numbers, and this one here is 96H. Well, that 96, that's your load rating index. There's actually a chart out there that says 96 corresponds with, say, 1,980 pounds, and I don't know the exact number of that, but generally speaking, that is that number correlates with a weight rating of that tire. So you want to make sure that you put a tire on the car that is equal to what came on at OEM, so it can handle the weight. And then of course the last one is this H. That's a speed rating. There's S, there's T, there's H, there's V, there's even ZR. All of those speed ratings are basically what that tire can sustain that speed at and not fail. Even the lowest one, S, is like, all of them are around 100 miles an hour, and they go up all the way up to ZR is above 149. But, so in the United States, where the speed limits are lower, that's not that concerning, but what it also correlates with is a higher speed rating tire is going to handle better, it's going to have more traction. So if you're looking at a V or a ZR rated tire, that's going to be a high performance, ultra high performance tire. If you're looking at an S or a T or some of the lower speed rating tires, that's going to be a standard duty tire. That probably gives you more information than really the speed rating itself, because we're not in Germany driving on the Autobahn. So that kind of covers these numbers here. Let's look at the name of them too. This one's a Michelin Energy Saver AS. Well, that AS stands for all season. It could be MS, which is mud and snow. It tells you what environments it performs in. All season is what you want in this area. That way the compound is designed for cold weather, warm weather, wet weather, dry weather, snowy conditions. It'll perform okay in kind of a large range. If you're, say, putting cars on a sportier car that you don't drive in bad weather, then you can tighten those parameters up, or if you just drive it in the summer only, you don't necessarily have to have a tire that performs in cold weather. You can get a much grippier compound. It takes quite a bit of background research and reading up on the compounds. That's a whole nother subject. But for the most part, you're looking for an all-season tire, so it performs in all climates in this area here. So that's that there. Let's look at some other tires. Those are commonly the numbers that you see. But let's look at some numbers that we really don't pay a lot of attention to. Like this tire here. We can see over here. This is a 225, 65, 17, 102H. So what this tells me is it's 225 millimeters wide, 65% of the width is its height on a 17-inch wheel. 102 is a high index rating. This came off of an SUV, and H is a fairly low speed rating. So that kind of fit the tire. This is an OEM tire on a RAV4. Another number I want to point out here is the DOT rating. This is another important number that virtually nobody pays attention to it. But you're interested in the last 4 numbers of this DOT. It says DOT and it's kind of embossed in the tire, then there's a stamped one. So this tire here was manufactured the 4th week of 2015. So, you know, this tire was replaced because of tread wear. It was starting to get low. A tire, when you get down to 4:30 seconds, then you really need to start shopping for tires. It has these tread bar ratings right here. Those show up at 2:30 seconds. At 2:30 seconds, it's shot. Here's an easy trick. If you don't have a tire gauge or whatever, a lot of people don't have a tire depth gauge, but if you just take a quarter and put upside down in the tread depth, you can see that right there, that the tire itself is at really the top of George's head. So if you can see the top of George's head, or definitely any space between George's head and the tire is ready for a replacement. This one is just on the edge. Customer had one damaged in an accident and replaced the other 3 just to keep them equal. That brings up a good thing. On today's cars that have traction control and all this sophisticated equipment, you really need to keep like tires, size, tread, depth, everything. You really need to replace them instead of 4s. You know, each car is different on how sensitive it is to that, but today's technology really likes to see 4 of the same size and tread depth tires all the way around all 4 corners. Going back to here, this tire here, I wanted to show this one. If we look at the DOT date on it, it was manufactured the 18th week of 2011. So this tire is 6-7 years old. This tire, you can see, has plenty of tread on it still, but it's old. The tire, you know, it's rubber, so if it dilapidates over age, and in the 5-year range or so, you really need to look at replacing tires, whether they're worn or not. So this one was definitely due for replacement based on age. So there's another little trick. All summed up, what I'd like to show you is most cars will have a plaque on the inside of the door. Newer cars, it'll look like this white one, just like that. But that is the placard that tells you what the car requires, tire size. Sometimes it'll have load rating and speed rating on it. This particular car doesn't. But there's a lot of technical information in picking out tires. So, you know, if you're, you know, the trend is shopping on the internet, but if you have tires shipped in, you've got to mount them, balance them, dispose of your old ones. I really recommend you know, dealing with a local shop here at St. Matthews Imports, where Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroll dealer. We'll make sure you get the tires that you're looking for on your car. Come on by and see us. This is another edition of Tune Up Tuesday.